Welcome back, Bald Business, the naked truth in entrepreneurship. So today is all about hype. Like, hype will get you started, but it's not going to keep you going. You know, the one thing that you have to do is you have to create discipline and stop relying on motivation so much. So it's late October 2013. We just got approved for our first personal training company, the space that we're going to use for our first location. We're super excited. Obviously, we're pumped up about that. We got the perfect spot with a small office in the front, warehouse in the back. We're super, like I said, we're super excited. Just thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was a good time. There's so many things to do though before we open. Like we get it toward the end of October. We can move in November 1st. We have to deep clean. We have to paint. We have to lay floor. And so, we look around, and it's my partner, his fiance, my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, and me. And we're like, well, let's get to work. It was basically one long weekend and a couple late nights because, like I said, we only had like 10 days and we were still training clients pretty much all day at the other space. And so I did end up getting my family to help us lay the floor because that ended up being a much bigger job than we had anticipated. But as we're doing this, we start moving clients over. So, we thought, why not just get started? Why not get people over here, get them started, start working out, start using the new facility? And people always ask me, they always say, did you hesitate? Like, were you hesitant? Were you scared of signing that first lease? And I don't recall that I was, but I think that's because the situation that we were in at the time was we had set a vision, we had set goals, we had set long-term plans, and we hired our first trainer. And basically the guy who was running the other gym said, hey, no, that's not going to work. You can't do that here. You're only allowed to basically train the number of clients that max you out, and you can't have trainers working under you. You already were here working, quote unquote, under me in my facility. And so once he said that, we pretty much were like, hey, let's crunch some numbers. Let's see if we can make this happen, because we've got to get out of this, pretty much just, it was a bad environment. It was obviously things were going to get ugly if we didn't just pack up and move on. So we were just so focused on, if we can make these numbers work, we can have a space of our own, something we can call home, we can put our name on the building, put our logo on the building, and we can call the shots, right? So I don't recall that I was really hesitant or scared, because I was more worried about getting out of that bad situation than I really was worried about getting into a new situation that was potentially scary. Plus, we had literally just spent the last year and a half transitioning, right? We had moved out of the big box that company had sold. And so we moved out of there, started our own little company at a gym. That first place didn't work out, moved to another location. Now this place was trying to put stipulations on us, and it wasn't going to work out. So I was really only seeing the positive. I was like, what could go wrong here? This is going to be great. And honestly, I would say that's something I do naturally really well, is I see the positive in things, but I almost do it to a fault sometimes. And my wife will tell you in the past, and I'm sure I do it sometimes now too. Any of us can stumble, any of us can fall, any of us can make mistakes, right? But I would see and focus so much on the positive things that could happen that I would fail to see a potential issue, or I would fail to get in front of something that that happened, and I had to work twice as hard to recover from it, or twice as hard to clean it up afterwards, basically. So my philosophy is kind of like live and learn, right? But anyways, we get everything set up, and we actually train our clients in there for the first 3 weeks with no equipment. Like, we had some bands, but mainly it was body weight and a couple stability balls that we had. And, it was pretty crazy times, but our clients were very understanding. They were excited for us. And honestly, as a trainer, you can get pretty creative with kind of just whatever's laying around. So it's me, my business partner, and the first trainer that we hired. And we said, well, we've got moved in. We've got clients rolling. We're gonna start getting new clients. This is an exciting time. People are gonna come in. People are gonna sign up. Like we can't wait. This is gonna work. This is gonna be awesome. And we're kind of thinking, well, we aren't at max capacity. Like my partner was training probably close to max hours. I wasn't quite at max hours, but our trainer, he was only about part-time. And so we thought, well, let's get people in here. Let's grow. Let's create a place where we can help more people and provide opportunities for trainers for years to come, right? And it's at this point, it's late November, time all of our equipment moves in, time we really get settled in. It's 1st of December, and we've got New Year's coming up, right? January's almost right around the corner. We're like, yeah, New Year's rush. It's going to be great. People are going to be coming in. So we invest in a website. We get a sign. We set up our Facebook page, and we're ready. And we're ready to crush it. And we didn't have rent due. Here's the good thing, a really cool thing that our realtor had done. We didn't have rent due until February because our realtor was able to negotiate the first 3 months of rent for free for us, which was obviously super helpful just with startup. We had to buy all the equipment, we had to buy the flooring, we had to buy all these things. So it was just really nice that we didn't have to worry about paying rent, right? So anyways, January, week 1 comes and goes. Week 2 and 3, about the same. We picked up a couple clients here and there, but those clients were really just because our location, they drove by and they saw we were right across the street, so they came in and signed up. But I'm thinking, this is January. Like, are we seriously only signing up like 1 or 2, 3 people? 4th week comes and I start crunching numbers. I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna make rent. We're gonna make February rent. Okay, all other bills covered, utilities, internet, insurance. Like, you never really realize how much it costs until you get in there and you start doing it. So February, first 2 weeks fly by. No more clients. Week 3 starts and I start crunching numbers. And I'm like, crap, we're not gonna make rent. And if we do make rent, we're not gonna be able to pay anything else. Like, it's the second month that we're supposed to be paying rent and we can't even make that happen. Like, what are we doing? What's going on? Like, are we doing something wrong? And this is when things started to get tough. Tension started to get high. Stress is high. We know we can do this. We want to take care of our team. We want to take care of our clients, and we want to show our landlord that we're a reliable tenant. But something is off. Like, what are we supposed to do? And so we sit down. We have a really serious conversation. I would say that it probably, not heated toward each other, but it was heated in the sense that both of us were frustrated. Both of us didn't really know what to do. And I remember one part of the conversation. We said, look, if we can't figure this out in another couple months, like, we might as well just go back to what we were doing. Like, we had just sat here 3 months earlier and put in the floor and did all the painting, and like, we were super excited, and all of a sudden we were talking about, like, well, if we can't make this work. And I'm like, no, that's not okay. That's not acceptable. Like, we're not gonna do that. Like, what do we need to do to succeed, right? And so we had a serious discussion. We talked about our vision. We talked about the business. We talked about where it's at. We talked about where we wanted to go, what we needed to do to get it to where we wanted to go. And we went our separate ways, and I thought for a while. And then I realized we weren't doing anything to get people in, to attract them into the business. I mean, yeah, we asked for referrals, but we did that all the time. Like, we literally asked for referrals all the time. We weren't advertising. We weren't hosting events. We weren't in the community. We weren't going to expos. We weren't doing any of those things. We were literally relying on the hype and the excitement about having a new location, and we're just gonna ride this wave of excitement. And we're 5 months into this, and clearly that's not working. So what do we need to do? Well, about a year earlier, I had participated in a coaching program which was really cool. And so I said, okay, well, let's sit down, let's make a plan, let's work together, and let's do this thing. So we put together a plan. We set time aside every single day. Every single day. There wasn't a day that we skipped. Maybe Sundays. We typically would take at least one day off, or at least one day away from the office, away from work. And we just started chipping away at things. Little by little, more people started coming in the door. And, yeah, we got excited at times, and we would have waves of hype, quote unquote, or motivation. But more importantly, we created discipline. We created disciplines that were necessary to reach the goals that we had. And discipline is simply doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. And I think that that's the thing, right? Is we get so excited about stuff. As entrepreneurs, we get so excited about the new thing, the next thing, what's next. Like even in higher level management, right? We get told like, hey, this is coming, this is going to happen. We get super excited, super pumped, super hyped about that. But what disciplines are we actually applying to maximize it, right? Without discipline, we're not going to maximize anything in our lives, let alone our business. So discipline is simply doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. So you got to think about that. And there's a lot of things, right? There's a lot of fun and exciting things that happen in entrepreneurship, in your own business, running a company, managing a company, being on a higher level of a company. But there's also a lot of boring, seemingly never-ending, annoying, and frustrating things as well. So how do we deal with those things? We have to use discipline. Things that you do that make you feel like you're going nowhere until 6 or 12 months down the road. Like that's what you do. Those things are annoying. They're frustrating. They seem like they're just a big waste of time, but they're not. Once we created these disciplines, we started doing what was required for our success. And it wasn't an overnight shift, right? It's not like we sat down on Monday and we put this plan together, then all of a sudden we were perfect. Like we slowly started chipping away at these things, and then all of a sudden we started picking up this steam, started picking up this momentum. And in 5 years, we had opened 5 locations. Was it easy? No, but it was definitely worth it. And so, I tell you this story because I want you to realize that you have to start creating disciplines. Stop relying on motivation. Stop relying on motivation to get it done, because the hype will get you started, but it's not going to keep you going. And the reason why this is important is because if you just keep waiting to feel, right? Oh, I'm just going to wait till I'm motivated to start. I'm just going to wait till I'm motivated to do that. I'm going to wait till this or that to get started on my goals. You're never going to reach your goal. You're going to fall into the same trap that many of us fall into, which is, oh, I'm all excited, I'm doing this now. But when it's not exciting, when I'm bored, when I'm frustrated, when I'm annoyed, I just want to quit. I just want to give up. And, I know part of you is probably thinking something like, well, I'm just tired today, man. I'm just tired today. I'm just not feeling it. That part of the job, it doesn't excite me. I try to be disciplined, but I always end up letting myself down. That's what people tell me a lot. Why I try to, and I create a plan, I create a calendar and a schedule, but then I just let myself down, I get frustrated, and then I give up. Well, what if I told you that by creating discipline and by sticking to it, you would experience more consistent motivation? So if you're a person who feels like you have highs and lows in motivation, once you create that discipline, you're going to have more consistent motivation, because the more consistent things that you do that are hard or not fun, the more you will feel like you've accomplished something. The more you will feel like you've checked that off. And because that's exactly what happens when you become disciplined. Like, you let yourself down less and less and less, and then before you know it, you think you're experiencing unlimited, unreal motivation, but really it's something you've created. It's discipline that you've created. It's not motivation. Is it motivating that you've accomplished that? Yes. But it's really discipline that you've created that's allowed you to get to where you are. So start creating discipline. Stop relying on motivation. 2 things that I want to tell you today that are going to help you do this. And these are important. And they're important because they work. Number 1, you need a schedule. Create a schedule. You need a weekly and a daily schedule. You need it to be consistent. When you first start out, just whatever you have, write it down. Because when we first started out, we were training clients. And then we would just do random stuff, right? Hoping that a new client would come in the door, hoping that a potential client would fall in our lap from a referral or whatever it may be. And when they didn't, we had to create a schedule to follow and stick to. So you got to set aside 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, like however much time you can, to do a specific thing that's going to help you reach your goal. And don't push it off. Like if you set it for 11 a.m., sit down and do it at 11 a.m. Knock it out, get it done. Like I've done this before. So I've said, okay, I'm going to work on this at 10 a.m. And then I realize, oh, well, I have a break at 9 and I don't have anything else scheduled till 2. So I'm going to wait and do it at 1. No, it doesn't work. That does not work. That'll be a huge speed bump. It'll be a huge block for you. You've got to make sure that when you put it in your schedule, make time to do it. Obviously, emergencies aside. So number 1, create a schedule. Number 2, be accountable. Find an accountability partner. Find someone, whether it's a business partner, a friend, a spouse, a family member, someone who can ask you every day or every week, did you get what you needed to get done today? And then follow that up with honest responses. Like don't sugarcoat it and don't sugarcoat it just to make yourself feel good about it, right? Because I'm always trying to find the positive. Maybe you're always trying to find the positive, right? And someone, I used to do this. Someone asked me, did you get your work done? Well, not exactly, but I was able to start on this and I got this done and I was also able to check this off my list. Like those are great things. Like yes, you used that time to be productive, but you didn't get the work done that you needed to get done to get closer to your goal, to get closer to the next level. So answer the question, yes or no. Did I get it done? Yes or no? So start creating discipline and stop relying on motivation. Create a schedule, be accountable. You do those 2 things, you will create so much discipline that you will think you are feeling motivation constantly, nonstop. And maybe part of you is. Maybe part of you is getting more and more motivated because you're realizing that you can accomplish these things and you can get these things done. You can achieve your goals. But at the end of the day, it's something that you're creating, right? So you've got the right to want to feel motivated. You really do. Like I know that feeling motivated is amazing. And you also have the right to be annoyed and frustrated at the things that aren't fun. But I'm telling you right now, this is where winners are created. This is where winners are created, is when you create discipline. There's a quote that I want to share with you today. It's, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. This is really hard because in the moment, we don't even think about what we want most. In the moment, we might even think what we want most is to not to have to do that task. But if you choose in between what you want most versus what you want now, you're going to create so much discipline in your life that you're going to be crushing your goals and you're going to be seeing advancements in your position or in your job or in your business like you've never seen before. So, do you want to reach your long-term goal? Or do you want to feel excited and be, at a level at which you can feel comfortable? Right? Do you want to be excited and feel comfortable? Or do you want to reach your goal? Do you want more success? Or do you want more comfort now? What is it that you want most? Stop relying on the motivation and start creating discipline. Thanks for joining me. Episode 5, Bald Business, the naked truth in entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Michael Budenseek. Find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Half the time I don't even remember which ones they are. Michael B. Life. It's Michael, the letter B, Life, Life. Until next time, get out there and create some discipline. I'm your host, Michael Budenseek. Find me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Half the time I don't remember which ones they are. Michael B. Life. It's Michael, the letter B, Life, Life. Until next time, get out there and create some discipline. Life. Until next time. Until next time, get out there and create some discipline. Time, get out there, create some discipline. Time, get out there, create some discipline. Out there, create some discipline. Time, get out there, create some discipline.